Battle of the glass cleaners. We get asked this question all the time. Homemade versus a bottled glass cleaner that a company like ours makes. What's the difference? What are we gonna find today? And I'll tell everybody a little bit about this mixture. This mixture is purer alcohol than you can actually buy publicly. Since we're a chemical manufacturer, we get access to the cleanest alcohol that you can buy on the market. So you're not even, most you can get usually is 91%, something like that. And it's actually not very, very good alcohol, to be honest, but that's what you would be using. So we mix this 25% alcohol, 75%, again, distilled water, which we have here. And then we have our glass cleaner. Tell a little bit about that.
Yeah, listen, the glass cleaner, what's specific about it? When you can craft and make some, listen, we can all go on Reddit or what are some of those sites people want to go on and ask the question, hey, how can I, whether that's save or make it a DIY, like maybe I want to do it myself. Glass cleaner though, you can run into some problems, right? Some people want to use ammonia in their glass cleaner.
So when you're talking about your car, ammonia is a no-go because of tint, because of different surfaces. So a lot of things you're gonna find at a parts store, a Walmart, a Sam's Club, a Costco, those are gonna be ammonia-based products. Doesn't matter what the label says, when we test them, we find ammonia. And again, alcohol, in theory, works really well on glass. First and foremost, there's a problem with that. You spray this on the interior, you can burn tint, you can burn plastics, you can burn leathers, you can really cause some damage. And think if you use alcohol on this big windshield on the inside, you have a really nice dash, it's gonna spot the dash most likely. I am not-
Why? It's burn, right?
It's
that alcohol burning in.
Yeah, and look, we do tint at my shop. We're very cautious with alcohol. Alcohol used to be a common thing in tint shops, pretty much non-existent at this point in time. They have a bunch of other things that they use. So again, everybody just kind of transitioned out because when you make enough mistakes, you go, it's not worth it. I mean, even now in the PPF world, they're not really using a lot of alcohol as tack. Okay, they're using just straight, really clean water. So the world kind of just advances. I don't mind the theory of this, but there's a lot of headache that comes with it. So let's get to cleaning some glass here. I'm gonna use the homemade mixture, but I'm also gonna tell you, I'm not gonna use it on the interior. We got tinted windows and we got leather.
All right, I am gonna use it on the interior.
Wow, this is real grabby.
Brutal over there?
Well, I'm used to, we carry some alcohol in the shop for some specialty stuff that we do, certainly not, spraying it on the inside of cars or anything, and some stuff with PPF. So I'm familiar, but I want to reiterate, you can't get this level of alcohol publicly. So this is the best it gets. I'm actually seeing it grab the towel a little bit. I'm having to kind of press really hard, and I'm not going to use it on tint. I'm not gonna do that. I got leather pieces here. I got a plastic piece here. I got some black piano trim. It's just not really worth the risk to me. I'm not gonna sit here and tell people that alcohol doesn't work, okay? It's certainly a good cleaner, but the dangers around a car, because you have so many different surfaces, and I'll kind of share with people something we're seeing in the Tesla world. Tesla has the softest glass that basically anybody's ever seen. So if the Tesla glass gets hot and you were to spray a really, really hot chemical mixture like this IPA we have here, or one you make at home, you could actually theoretically burn the glass, and we have seen it happen before, right? Because people don't realize chemicals can etch glass if it's soft enough, okay? Not if it's, Range Rover glass is usually pretty tough, especially the rear, it's pretty tough glass, but you also can get in a situation, we're seeing a big change in the Jeep world. Jeep is seeing pretty soft glass where guys don't even feel comfortable using a stainless steel blade. Oh yeah, back here in this glass is not reacting well. I'm really having to push the towel through. But like I said, this isn't about, would it work? Yeah, I can make this work. I'm gonna leave a lot of lint behind most likely. I'm also going to not feel comfortable using it on the inside of the car. And so it's a no-go for me, personally, just because I'm sitting here looking at a $100,000 car with a beautiful interior. Why take the risk? And that's where I fall out on it. I mean, if people watch us enough, they'll understand. When you work on a lot of cars, you learn to mitigate risk, right? You learn this isn't worth it and that is worth it. This is worth trying, that isn't worth trying. And that's the best professionals out there. They're mitigating risk. And so that's what using a bottled formulated glass cleaner from us, you're just taking the risk out, right? We do have a tiny bit of alcohol in our formula, right? A tiny bit. Not 25%, not 10%, not 5%.
Not some. We've seen some 50-50.
Yeah, we've seen 50-50. We've also seen companies that do heavy alcohol formulas so they can get a streak-free finish. Well, the reality is you get a streak-free finish by having the right formula, not by just amping up the alcohol and making it more dangerous. So what Marty just did there, you couldn't do that with an alcohol, 50-50, 25%. Especially something as good as what we have in here, or 91% you could get at the store. If it starts to drop on that dash on a hot summer day, you're going to see a lot of white specks permanently.
Yeah, I think that's just, that became a habit of mine from so long ago, from when I used an appropriate glass cleaner, right? And I've never wanted just to leave cleaner just sitting.
Oh yeah, no.
I just,
And
it's
even,
sort of my habit.
Yeah, and so when we tint a windshield, which we do a lot of, I always tell people this, we put a rope down in so all the electronics are protected all the way down here, and then we have a whole dash towel that goes from edge to edge all the way down to the front, so when we spray our slip solution, there's no chance of damaging anything on the dash. So now I'm going to cut a corner and have an alcohol formula at the very end of tinting a windshield and go, you know what, let me spray this down with alcohol and risk damage. I've just done so much to mitigate that. And so it's just one of those things that I think it sounds good, like you said, on Reddit. It sounds good when people talk about it, but in theory, that's not how it goes.
Yeah. And if we want to talk about battle, right, in a sense of the battle that goes on between homemade or bottled, either way, what we're not doing right here is battling the glass cleaner. And there is a way to battle against inappropriate processes, right? There's some things we've got to do, right, Nick? A common thing, you want to hear about a tip for a DIY, from the pro. Glass cleaning in itself, this process, there's some big tips to alleviate the battle of working, right? One is that flat, big overarching pattern and not that up close shot, and not over drenching too.
Yeah, some people just use a little too much product, right? I mean, and it doesn't really help you. If you have something you feel like you have to use that much product, I'd probably switch products, right? So get your towel a little bit damp on one side with a couple sprays, couple spritzes on the windshield, call it a day, right? If again, I don't know if the video has come out yet, but we did an FJ Cruiser that had the inside of the windshield was just caked with grime. So if you have that, check that video out if it hasn't dropped. There's also a pre-cleaning method if your windshield has gotten into bad shape that can help you not sit in there and battle. Because look, if this is already something that's difficult for you, which I understand it is for a lot of people, then by all means, check out our video with that FJ and we'll show you how to kind of alleviate any kind of mess on the interior of your windshield, because it can be a headache for a lot of us.
Absolutely, absolutely. So when you're cleaning, are you into that, hey, I'm gonna do one direction on one side and one direction on the other? I just make sure I get my towel everywhere. I do follow a pattern, and we'll put the window down and get that little edge around. Don't do that during the videos, but
yeah, I do. It's probably window specific, right? On these Range Rovers, it's really easy to go side to side because they're such large. But you get into some sports cars, you don't have a ton of room. You start working on a Ferrari 488. I mean, that side window is not that big.
Yeah.
Right. So sitting there trying to go up and down, it just doesn't work as well as on the outside and the inside doing both, where you go the same direction. So yeah, I mean, if I have room, I like to go in a couple of different directions. But if you work on, we had a Porsche in here you and I worked on, those windows aren't very big. You know, so it's hard to go up and down and get everywhere. So you kind of have to work with the window. It sounds great in theory, but there's so many different sizes of windows. You got frameless windows, you got smaller windows, you got all these kinds of things going on. I just do whatever feels right in the moment for that exact window, right? What's going to get me the best coverage, which is going to get me the best result. But yeah, I do try to go in 2 different directions if I'm available to do that, right? It's always great to do those types of things, and it's always great to have that type of process so you know when something's gone wrong. But also, if you have a car where that's hard to do that, then don't do it, right? Just do what makes sense with the window. So I think this is a great discussion, and I want to make sure that people know that we're very transparent. Alcohol works, okay? It works. The problem is you have a worse user experience, and you have a whole bunch of things you shouldn't feel comfortable spraying it around. Leather, plastic, black piano trim, dash, anything that this could damage. Why would I take the risk? And that's where I fall out on this, is not that it doesn't work. This is a good cleaner. It's dangerous on tint and plastics and leather, so it's not worth it to me. What say you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, battle of the glass cleaners, right? Homemade versus bottled. What is the decision here? It's bottled. It's been crafted. You know, you're right. There's that safety stuff, the way you're doing. I just go with men. We've been doing this for so long, combined over 40 years. You know, we're hitting 42 now, right? So we've put in the time, we've put in the effort. I get it. There's stuff that you can read out there, and it cleans. But wow, the experience of using a HyperClean Glass Cleaner versus any of the others, I'm going this all the way.
Yeah, and same for me. I'm just not going to take the risk. We've taken it out of my shop. I very rarely use alcohol for anything, very select things, because things have become sensitive. So you got to just adjust with the times, and I think that's where we fit in here.
Absolutely.
All right.
Thanks for watching. Continue to support American-made car care. And hey, if you like what you've seen in this video, go ahead, click like, subscribe. Get ready for the next one.